Rothman Tech-Tips. I'm very honored to be here with Michael Murphy, MJ as we call him, and I'm here in Washington, D.C., and Michael Murphy's in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and this is a first here at Rothman Tech-Tips. We are doing this over Adobe Connect. Over the web, we are doing this Rothman Tech-Tips, and this is an all-time first. So I'm very pleased to have MJ here, and we're going to be talking about Windows 8. Please, Michael, tell my audience about Windows 8. I'm currently using Windows 7. Do I want to upgrade to Windows 8? You know, just tell us a little bit about Windows 8 and why we should possibly upgrade to the new Microsoft operating system.
Okay, so first thing, Matt, as you well know, right? I mean, I'm a big Microsoft fan. I'm a former Microsoft employee. I was on Microsoft's TechNet team as an IT evangelist for years. Coming up 2015, man, marks the 30th year of my life that I have been making my living off of Microsoft and Microsoft products, okay? So I want to position this, right? I used to say at Microsoft, I don't drink the Kool-Aid, I mix the Kool-Aid. Now today, right, so in all transparency, right, that's the world that I come from. And I want to say, when I look at the Windows 8 operating system, when I look at this environment, and I think about the world that we're moving into, right, a world of portable devices, tablet devices, a variety of touch screen appliances, we can see how Windows 8 fits into that world, right? It's built for that world. And the concern that I have, and this is what you said as you opened the conversation, should I look to upgrade to Windows 8? And I got to tell you, Matt, it's one thing if you're buying a tablet or a Windows 8 phone or another portable device that will support Windows 8. But if you're looking at this thing as a desktop solution, you are in for a world of hurt. When we think about the Windows world, right? You know as well as I do, you can hand Windows and a mouse to just about any 8-year-old on the planet, and they can get around, right? You want to know how hard it is as a beginning user and what the learning curve looks like on this thing? There's a great video on YouTube actually called Windows 8, Even a 12-Year-Old Can't Do It. And that's just a great example. Well, here, let me show you, right? Let's take a look. I'll show you what I'm talking about here.
Oh,
so
no.
If you look down here.
Wow. A screen share. This is a Rothman Tech-Tips first. MJ Murphy is doing a screen share of Windows 8. This is great. Please show us.
So Matt, let me ask you. You go into work in the morning. What's the first thing you do?
Open up my email.
You turn on your computer. What's the first thing you do?
Outlook.
Open up your email, right? Okay.
Yep.
Outlook. Open up Outlook, right? And normally, how do you do that?
Lower left-hand corner, I go to the Start button and click on Outlook.
Go to the Start menu, right, and you click on Outlook. So a couple things here. Now, you'll notice that Outlook appears as an application for me over here, right? But that's only because I took the trouble to personalize this interface, right? Like this interface, whoops, sorry, wrong thing. You know, this interface can all be personalized. I can switch these tiles around. I can move these tiles. I can launch an application from there, but they're not there by default, right? I've got to go in. I've got to set them up that way. Normally, I think what most folks do in the morning when they're getting started is they go to the Start menu. And right off the bat, what you'll notice here in Windows 8 is that there is no Start menu. The interface has been redesigned for the touch screen environment, for those phones and portable devices, tablet devices, etc. Here, this is taking a long time. Let's see what else we got here. Let me show you. If I click this, now you can see what happened. When I launched that application, we went to what looks more like a classic desktop, right? And I'll bet, Matt, that in your life you spend a lot of time on the internet, right?
Yes.
So if
Oh, yeah.
I look over here, there's an internet icon, and I can click that icon, and I get a standard application window that opens up, and I can see I have close buttons up here, right? Now, dig it. First of all, there is no, as I say, start menu. There is, oh, no, that's not the one. That's your charms bar. There's a bunch of, one of the things, if you're going to try to use this thing on on a desktop, you're going to have to get used to these shortcut keys. So control, or not control, the Windows key with C opens that charms bar, that bar you see along this side here. And you can see I can click start, and that brings me back to this interface. Or I can click that Windows key again and come back in here. Or I can do something like this. What is it? Control, no. Control, or Windows key X. Windows key X brings up something that looks like a start menu, but what it really is all of your administrative system tools. Right? Not the programs, not what the average user is looking for. And who would even think of that? Windows key X, right? Now, beyond that, there's another problem. For the average user, if they're in here in the desktop and they launch Internet Explorer the way that they normally would from a shortcut down there on the taskbar, they think that they're in Windows Internet Explorer. Then they come out here, if they can figure out how, and they see this icon and they launch this, and it looks like Internet Explorer, but in fact, it's the Windows 8 style application version of Internet Explorer. And if you look at it, it's a very different application. First of all, it didn't take us to the page we were just on in the other instance of Internet Explorer. It took us someplace else entirely. Second of all, you know, if I look in here, if I'm an average user in the world, I mean, sure, this is a simple, full screen application, which on my tablet or my handheld device is going to be great for me. But here on the desktop, as an office worker or an office user, I can't even figure out how to close this thing. Where would you go to close it, Matt?
Just looking at your screen, I have no idea. And
where's the close button?
my first
right, where's the
impression,
menu?
I can't. I don't know where anything is. I can't navigate my way
Because it ain't
around.
there.
Yes.
It's not there, pal. You know, and if I float my mouse over here too. Now, see, this is another thing, right? Like, if you noticed a second ago, the charms bar, there it is, popped up when I floated my mouse over there. But it doesn't always. Look at how I have to work to get that thing to come out. Come on, you. It's easier to consult the documentation and know that the keyboard combination will bring that out. And then this is how I get around. So, look at, like I say, I've been making my living off Microsoft and Microsoft products for 30 years. I like Microsoft. But I got to tell you, this doesn't work on a PC. This is not the world, the learning curve on this. What it's going to cost you in help desk calls if you try to roll this thing out as a desktop solution for your office workers, your information workers, you know, so thank God they're going to keep selling Windows 7 for a while.
Interesting. So what I'm picking up on, if you're just a regular desktop everyday user, Windows 8 probably isn't the best solution for you.
No, definitely not. This thing is built for the portable device touchscreen environment. And as a desktop solution, it is extraordinarily problematic.
Interesting. So for those of us out there looking for new tablets, I love tablets. I think that is the future of portable computing. The Windows 8 tablets are probably a good call, but desktops not so much.
I'm very concerned. You know, I think about the innovations that Apple has brought to us in the last 10 years. And I think about what a game changer the iPod and the iPhone were. But what I didn't see Apple do was try to create a single interface that would work on the iPhone and on Tiger and on Leopard and on everything, right? That's not how they do things. They're building operating systems specific to those devices. Here we see Microsoft trying to make a one-size-fits-all OS. And the reality is that what works on the Surface or tablet PC is not what works at my desktop.
Interesting. I love my iPad. I bring it with me everywhere. I don't want to ever carry around a laptop computer anymore because I love my, iPad. Now, what I see here is I see Windows 8 as the Microsoft tablet operating system that they're also trying to use on their PC, on their laptops, PCs, desktops, and I guess what you're saying is there's a huge disconnect that this OS is great for tablets, but not great for desktops.
And in all honesty, I'm kind of making the assumption that it would be great for tablets because I have not actually tested it on a tablet or portable device, but I can see. Having familiarity with that interface, I can see how if this were a touch screen, this would be a friendly interface and I could get around pretty readily for the kind of limited use that I have in those environments. But if I'm a person that's managing lots of application windows and is in Excel and Word and has a routine for getting around, I mean, even things like this, Matt, like if we do this, like if I come over here to the app for Internet Explorer, right? And let's say I go to my Hotmail account. And in Hotmail, if I create a new document or create a new email, and I go to attachments, if I look in here, look what happens when I go to attachments. Does this look like a file download dialog box to you?
I don't know what that looks like.
Exactly. How are you going to even know where to go? Right? Now, what this is, of course, is a graphical representation of, right, like I could come up here, I'm at my desktop, and I see that there's one file here, or then I could go into my libraries, my documents libraries, my picture libraries, etc. Or I can go up, right? Which means that I have to have an understanding of how I'm drilling down through the file system. I mean,
got it.
So you get the idea.
I get the idea.
Right?
Windows 8.
Now, of course, if I was in Internet Explorer, if I was in the Internet Explorer full app and I went to attachments on this Windows 8 machine, then the normal thing would happen, right? Right? If I come over here and if we come out here and if I go to Hotmail. Now look, here I am. I'm not even logged in over here. You can see I was logged in at the other in the other version, the Windows 8 version of the application. But over here, I'm not even logged in. There's no continuity between my experience in Explorer over here and my experience in the Windows 8 version of the app. Right now, here I am. That looks familiar to everybody.
That looks like
right?
Hotmail.
Boom. And that's a familiar interface. What do we get on the other side?
Wow. Well, this has been great. MJ, you were really able to show us Windows 8 and kind of show us, if we were just desktop users, some of the obstacles that we would face trying to leverage Windows 8. So I definitely, thank you. My audience thanks you for showing us this. The screen share is a first for Rothman Tech-Tips. So I definitely appreciate you doing this and really volunteering to do this Tech Tips. This was very educational. So thank you for this. And Windows 8 seems to be an operating system that, once again, we're not ready for, and we should keep our Windows 7 machines for a little while now, and that's kind of the interpretation I picked up from our dialogue here.
I really think that the future path at Microsoft is going to be that this environment gets peeled off for the set of devices that it should run on, and Microsoft reinvents the desktop operating system in Windows 9, let's say.
Got it.
I would guess that that's the future.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you thought there were a lot of jokes about Vista, just wait until 8 hits the streets.
Oh, I remember those Vista jokes. We used to call Windows 7 Vista without the bugs. So, you heard it here first. MJ is really thinking that there's going to be a lot of harsh criticism out there for Windows 8, and that the desktop, you should just wait for Windows 9. So, MJ, thank you so much. Before I let you go, I said in the beginning of this call that you're in Scranton, Pennsylvania. My favorite show, The Office, takes place in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And watching one of the reruns the other day, they talk about that bar, Poor Richard's. Is that a real bar? Is that really in Scranton, PA?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
That's a real place. Yeah, it's down the bowling alley.
So for the I Don't Cook portion of this blog, tell my audience, if we're in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where should we go eat? What do you recommend to eat in your part of Pennsylvania, Scranton, PA? Where should we go eat? The I Don't Cook portion.
I'll tell you, if you like regional Italian, there is a place just outside of Scranton, Dunmore, called Anna Maria's Restaurant. I've been going there for years, Matt, and I've never had a bad experience there. The food is wonderful. The people are wonderful. They make a prosciutto wrapped asparagus that's like butter. It just melts in your mouth. I mean, you'll never go wrong at Anna Maria's.
So Anna Maria's in Dunmore, the prosciutto wrapped asparagus. There it is.
Just to start.
Just to start. That is it. That is the Michael M.J. Murphy recommendation for the I Don't Cook portion of Rothman Tech-Tips. Michael, thank you so much for coming on the program. This was great. An all-time first here for Rothman Tech-Tips. Doing the screen share, doing the webcam here. This was great. This was your idea. Thank you so much. This is Rothman Tech-Tips.
Thanks, man.